Thanks for staying with us. You're watching News 360, and this is where we start off this evening. A test by the Soil Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research has revealed high levels of metals, including mercury and lead, in some food crops. Consumption of such crops poses health risks and possible death. Here's a News Desk report.
By the Soil Research Institute to determine the threshold levels of chemicals in food crops revealed mercury and lead, which is the main chemicals for mining, are dominant in oranges produced from Obuasi, a predominantly mining community in Ghana. Contamination by such heavy metals could be injurious to consumers. What makes the situation worse is the difficulty for consumers to know the source of such food items. Large tracts of farmlands in the central, western, eastern, Bonahafu and Upper East regions have been degraded, and several water bodies including the Brim, Densu, Tano, Pra polluted by illegal miners, popularly referred to as Galamsey operators. A similar research by the Water Research Institute revealed the Brim River contained levels of arsenic higher than the recommended limits of the Ghana Standards Authority. The two heavy metals, arsenic and mercury, found in the river by the WRI research have been tagged as harmful by the World Health Organization. According to the WHO, arsenic is highly toxic in its inorganic form, and water contaminated with the chemicals used for drinking, food preparation and irrigation of food crops poses the greatest threats to public health.
All right, clearly, this has raised a lot of concern amongst the very many people who have read the details of this report. I'm just going to run through with you exactly why this has come as a source of worry and the details of this particular report that the institute, that's the Crop Research Institute of the CSIR, has put together earlier on. So it's a clear source of worry. If you look at the Galamsey areas, I'm just going to project to you right now. The western region is heavily hit by Galamsey, and the Ashanti region, the Amansia West constituency, if you recall, some years ago, where the residents or the inhabitants there clashed with some Chinese Galamsey miners there who also fired some warning shots against the residents. In the eastern region as well, there have been some cases of Galamsey also recorded in that part of the region. There's been very clear concern, especially with the contamination of the Etiwa forest, the water bodies there in the Etiwa forest. That serves about 5 million Ghanaians in the eastern region. Clear worry. Some 28 people were arrested in January sometime this year. My colleague Relem Evansinkum spoke to the Lands and Natural Resources Minister on this particular issue. Let's take a listen to him.
That's the beginning of what we start now, because the metal contents in our water bodies is quite harming to the health of the citizens. So what we're expecting is to make sure that we eradicate this issue of mining in the river bodies and Galamsey using of mercury, application of mercury, which runs down through a process of rainfall and enters our rivers. And until we are able to stop this activity, this increases of metals in the water content, of course, will become very prevalent. And so,
what about the culprits?
Of course, the culprit. I've given a directive. For instance, if you arrest anybody today that is found working with these chamfers in the river body, that one is criminal. We will not going to forgive you at all, no matter your political affiliation. What normally happens is that people say, okay, this is a time for us. Our government is in place, and so we must go and do the wrong thing. This government is not going to allow that. The President, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, will not sit down and say because his government is in place, people should go polluting the water. He will not do that. Neither would I, as a sector minister, agree to.
So that's the Lands and Natural Resources Minister.